Hi everyone. So today I wanted to share a personal childhood memory that as I reflect back on the fundamental philosophy of Doglando and our enrichment program, I can vividly recall having this moment, and it was such a magical experience, and I thought I'd want to share it with you. I, as many of you know, was born and raised in Kenya, East Africa, and had many amazing experiences going on safaris and watching animals in natural habitats. So this particular moment, I remember being on safari with my family, and the park ranger who was driving us around Masai Mara had spotted a herd of elephants. And so he wanted to take us to go and see this herd of elephants that consisted of a mom, a grandmother, and a newly born elephant. He was at least a couple months old. But anyway, so here are these three beautiful animals, varying in size, varying in experience, varying in maturity, and really learning from one another, and the important role that both the grandmother and the baby played on the mom, the role that the mom and the baby played for the grandmother, and the role that the grandmother and the mom played on the baby elephant. And so we pulled up, and there was a dam, like a pond, pretty big, but it was still not like anything like a lake or anything like that, but a pond. And as you know, elephants love having baths and spraying water and mud baths all over them. And so here they are, the grandmother and the mom elephant sucking up water through their trunk and then squirting it on them, on their back, on their ears to keep them cool. And the baby elephant is just like diving into it, realizing, oh well, I can't roll, and flopping over, and just so exaggerated yet so unbelievable to witness and watch. And I was so enthralled by that whole experience, and I remember going up to the park ranger, our driver, and asking him to go a little closer. And this is the moment that I remember so clearly, maybe not even the elephants interacting as much as this particular moment. And I remember him saying, we couldn't. And so I said, why? And he said, if we move closer, their behavior will change. They will stop doing that. They'll stop enjoying the water. And isn't that what you want to watch? And I thought, oh gosh, like it hit me so hard, but mainly just to provoke thought. And I was kind of lost, not just lost in observation of these elephants, but also just lost in the power of the words and what the moment that he also just created in my understanding of why this was a privilege to witness. Your space in relation to that animal space matters, and it matters so much that it makes the world of a difference in the behavior you want to see. The dog doesn't have the right to say, you know, I'd rather not be in a social environment right now. So what is the right of the dog? They're not allowed to be fearful. They're not allowed to have anxiety. They're not allowed to be aggressive. All these terms that we are using to categorize behavior that is so normal, so natural, such as that, right? But immediately that animal is quickly recovered or corrected or made to believe you don't have the right to do that. Why did you just come barking and lunging towards somebody else? Why did you just come running out of that door and bark? But how can he explain, well, I did that not with the intention of running out and being aggressive, but when I came out into a territory I'm so familiar with, I'm seeing the back of this person, a camera on a tripod, something I've not had an experience of before, and I'm just trying to alert you that, hey, by the way, do you know that that's going on there? But immediately the connotation is bad dog, bad behavior. And how do we work that out of the dog? So when you think of when did culturally this change take place, right? Like how recent has this transformation taken place? Or is it still happening right now, or has it been happening for quite some time and we've just not been aware of it? And when you actually start looking at the data, you really were looking at and realizing that this cultural change on the level of respect we are willing to give a dog, or self-worth that the dog has, is very recent. It's just in the last decade or decade and a half, right? That people are really putting this abnormal demand, resulting in an immense level of stress to the dog. And so growing up, we were always constantly reminded on how mindful we needed to be with everything in our environment, whether that was a dog, a person, but more importantly, even nature, right? And here's another example, going on a safari. And if you saw an animal carcass, which was normal, yeah, you might be fascinated to see a skeleton of a particular animal. We were never allowed to touching it, let alone picking it up and even taking it with us, right? And so we've kind of, who's teaching our kids this? Who is teaching people this? And how much it's impacting the dog. And today I can tell you one of the things that we, the whole team at Doglando, is so proud of, that we consciously and deliberately are always asking, are we protecting, are we preserving, and are we preventing our dogs here at Doglando? Are we preventing them from the opportunity to feel like they are an inanimate object? That they don't have the right, that they should not. And we are preserving and protecting that the fact that they do. They can, they should, they will, and be mindful about that. The original question was, why, how, and when did our dogs stop losing or stop earning their right to say they were upset with something, they were unhappy with something, something was too much of, too little of? When did they stop earning that right? And how can we give that right back to them? Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon.